This is Roth Conrad on American Safari in Chicago. Today, we are in the Ukrainian village at the home of my friend Michael Clark, and Miranda is preparing to fly back to Tampa. We're going to the airport in a little bit, and we wanted to interview her before she went back to school and quit the safari. Kind of sad about it, but here we go. Miranda, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, hanging in there?
Yeah.
Have you had fun on the safari?
I've had a lot of fun. A great time.
Good. Well, for everybody who doesn't know, how about you just start with telling us a bit about yourself?
Okay. I was born in Sarasota, raised on Anna Maria Island, and then moved to Tampa to go to USF. Have done a lot of traveling, not much traveling within the U.S., but thankfully that has changed. So that's about it. That's me.
All right. Well, do you have any hobbies?
Traveling, I like to bike, I like to skateboard, I like to kayak, I like to paint. I like to kind of an adrenaline junkie, so I like to try new, really exciting, adventurous things.
Okay. Well, you said traveling and adventurous things
Yes.
twice. So how about you tell us about some travel and adventure?
The first time I left the country, I went to Australia for almost 3 months when I was 12 years old, and stayed in a place called Kalgoorlie, which is in like the middle of the outback. And then I went to Europe when I was 16, and then went back when I was 19 for 3 days, which was a crazy trip, and then went back last summer and backpacked for 2.5 months by myself around Europe. I've been to Africa. I went to Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. Yeah. And now I've been all over the U.S.
All over the U.S.?
Well, I've been a few other places, but I definitely hadn't been to most of the states we spent time in. I hadn't really spent some time in, like Tennessee or here in Illinois. I'd never been to Chicago, so.
Well, can you tell us some of your favorite stories from backpacking or the road? Actually, backpacking is something that a lot of younger Americans are kind of interested in these days. There's a little bit of a buzz about it, and some people do it, other people dream about it.
They should all do it.
They should all do it, huh? Everyone?
Yeah. I really think everyone should at least give it a go, yeah.
Kind of like the military. Some people think everybody should be in the military.
I guess kind of like that idea, but I don't agree with that.
Okay, well, why should everybody go backpacking in Europe?
Well, because...
And why Europe and not South America?
I've never been to South America, so I can't really say one way or the other for South America. I just say for Europe because a majority of the time there will be English speakers there. There'll be some sort of familiar culture, but there are enough different cultures and different people and different settings that you can really learn a lot. And being an American, you go over there and most of the time you're met with some hostility and some negativity. And if you yourself can grow as a person and possibly, create a better image for Americans for the people you meet, that's pretty rewarding for me.
So you feel like you created a better image for America in Europe?
I was told by some people who had met other Americans that I was one of the nicest Americans I'd ever met, or it's nice to know that people actually care, and they're not over. I didn't come over there to change anything. I came over there to experience and enjoy. So.
All right. Mm-hmm. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your American safari?
Met a lot of really cool people. Went some really great places that I want to visit again. I'd say I learned a little bit about traveling with people, about meeting new people. It was the first time I got to couch surf, because usually I host couch surfers, so it was cool that I finally got to be the surfer. I got to visit some cities I hadn't been to in years, and it was very, very different for me because coming in with you, someone who hadn't been there before either, so it was a completely different perspective than going somewhere and hanging out with someone who's from there and seeing it that way. Biking around a lot was really cool because you always see a city differently when you're on a bike. I think it's another way people should definitely try to visit places.
Yeah, walking, biking, and driving, it's a different experience all the ways.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have planned for the future?
Well, this summer I want to take my father to Belize. That's a goal that I've been working on that will happen. I'll make it happen. We want to spend some time just living off the land in the rainforest. That's an idea. I have plans with a couple friends to fly to the West Coast because I'm only going to spend about 2 weeks in Belize with my father, and then bike back, do a little touring back from the West Coast, which is, I wouldn't say that, those are more tentative plans than actually set in stone, but Belize will be happening.
Okay. And where is Belize?
Belize is in Central America, right below Mexico, right above Costa Rica. It has some of the densest, most untouched rainforest that's close to Florida. It's beautiful. It's got a lot of old culture, like Mayan culture, and it's supposed to be really, really beautiful, so I'm excited.
Does it span both coasts?
No. It's only on the East Coast.
The Gulf side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
About how long does it take to bike from the West Coast back to Florida?
I'm not sure, but we have talked about being really leisurely with it and taking, our time and scenic routes and not really plowing through.
You're doing like 5 miles a day?
No. More like 40, 50 miles a day. Just taking it slow.
All right. What is one of your happier memories of backpacking?
I wanted to go to Croatia, and I'd heard about the Dalmatian Islands but never actually researched them or seen them. So I headed there, and the first night I got to Croatia, I jumped on the first island I could get to, which was called Brac, B-R-A-C, and it's one of the larger Dalmatian islands. And the first night I was there, I was setting my little 2-person tent up in the rain, and these 5 British girls were walking up the hill because the islands are really, really hilly there, super steep too, and small, and all the beaches are rock. They're really beautiful. The water's the clearest I've ever seen. And they were like, "Hey, are you by yourself?" And like, yeah, kind of hoping for an invitation, but not, being too forward. And they're like, "Yeah, come have a drink with us. We'd love to hear about your trip." And they were only on holiday, they call it, in Croatia. They were just jumping around the islands. So I had planned on only going to a few islands and spending probably about 5 days in Croatia and then heading to Greece. And after meeting up with them, 2 of them flew home, and I ended up island hopping and camping on the beaches in Croatia with 3 of the British girls for almost 2 weeks, and it was awesome. We jumped off of cliffs into the clear water. We met an Australian guy who drove his sailboat for his buddy's 30th birthday from Australia to Croatia, like just for his birthday, and he ended up giving us his credit card for the night, and we just went from like bar to bar, dancing and drinking the whole night into the next morning. And then I remember walking out at like 8 in the morning from the last bar and seeing the sun, coming up over the water, and it was beautiful. A really, really good time. Those girls were amazing.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Well, have fun back at school.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming with me.
Thank you.
What would you tell people about traveling with me? Recommend it? Don't recommend it?
No, I recommend.
Watch out for this.
I recommend traveling with you. Absolutely. I recommend for those who would like to travel with you that they have a sense of humor, and that they be very straightforward and honest. And if they have a very strong opinion, back it up and and be forceful back with it.
All right. Well, would you like to say hi to anybody? Bye to anybody?
I'd like to say bye to you and thank you, Roth. And hi, Mom. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Goodbye.